I would say based on your report, you identified numerous problems.
Tonight, a Denver7 Investigates special report.
No bus is available at this time.
For more than a year, our cameras have focused on what was a public safety secret.
Are you surprised by what we found?
Nope, not at all.
A hidden culture creating dangerous delays.
She didn't deserve to die.
Decisions and staffing levels impacting critically injured patients.
Why did they travel so far? Why?
When every minute matters.
You're saying you've done nothing wrong.
I've done nothing wrong. I take care of patients.
Do you think Denver Health wants the people of Denver to know how long firefighters are waiting?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Emails and data uncovered exposing a disconnected emergency response system.
We are dysfunctional and we need reform. We need action.
Problem?
Of course it is. It's a major problem.
After more than a dozen reports by Denver7 Investigates, where firefighters and paramedics brought the life and death issues into focus, city leaders and Denver Health have now announced significant changes are on the way.
I have a desire. We gotta fix this.
Now, delayed and diverted, Denver's cry for help. Here's Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kowaleski.
Good evening. You're looking at the faces of change, heroic paramedics, firefighters, and a mom who all stepped forward to right a wrong, to make a difference, to shine light on a broken system that most critically injured patients had no idea existed. Many feared their statements would impact their careers. They boldly exposed the truth while remaining in the shadows. They all shared a common goal: bring into focus the need to improve the emergency medical response system for the people of Denver. Together, they did make a difference. You've entered into a new contract. In less than 90 days on the job, Denver Health's new CEO found ways to put a big Band-Aid on what had become a large wound. What are the people of Denver going to start seeing?
I think they're going to see greater collaboration.
Donna Lynn inherited the controversy over care that has festered now for more than a year.
This is a big deal. It's a big change.
The major changes announced by the mayor last month are changes applauded by the sources who came forward in our reports. What does that mean to you?
I think it's a recognition that, it's a new chapter.
A new chapter in a book that includes stories of veteran paramedics describing a culture pressuring them to bypass qualified hospitals. Did you get in trouble for taking a critically injured patient to the closest hospital instead of Denver Health?
Yes, I did.
Once? Twice?
More than that.
What would they say?
Why didn't you take them to Denver Health? You'll know all level 1 trauma goes to Denver Health.
That book also included stories exposing rules, leaders, and a system that prevented firefighters from providing advanced life support.
It just feels like our hands are tied behind our backs.
And the final chapter written by data exposing an ambulance system producing dangerous delays.
Checking an update for ambulance.
You are listening to radio conversations between firefighters and dispatchers.
That is negative, sir. They have the call, no assignments yet.
Denver7 Investigates has combed through several days of radio communication.
Yeah, can you timestamp ALS arrival, 25-minute response time?
There's been a lack of accountability.
He's a current Denver firefighter asking us to disguise his identity so he doesn't lose his job. How common are delayed, extremely delayed response times from Denver Health?
It feels regular. And again, the problem is I don't have the data. We don't have the information to know how often it actually happens.
If the ambulance was delayed or didn't show up for a longer period of time, there wasn't much for us to do while we were waiting.
After 3 years of service, Kevin Apperon recently left Denver Fire. He's a licensed and trained paramedic. But Denver Health's leadership did not allow him to use his paramedic training to save lives. Do you think Denver Health wants the people of Denver to know how long firefighters are waiting?
Absolutely not.
This database, managed by the Denver Fire Department and obtained exclusively by Denver7 Investigates, shows how long firefighters in Denver waited for ambulances last year. Denver Fire's data shows nearly 8,000 calls last year where firefighters were on scene and waited more than 10 minutes for an ambulance to arrive. More than 1,600 calls where fire crews waited more than 20 minutes. More than 450 calls where firefighters waited at least 30 minutes. And 141 calls where Denver fire crews waited more than 40 minutes for an ambulance to arrive.
Dispatch Fusion 8, if we ever get an ambulance inside. That's Nathan, sir.
These are radio communications from December 1st of last year.
Just see if they've assigned an ALS this call yet.
You're listening to calls from 3 different fire crews. It's 6:42 in the morning. Fire crews asking for updates on the availability of ambulances.
Just checking to see if we have an ambulance responding.
A 5-minute look into a system that, according to the radio communications, offered no ambulances for 3 Denver residents needing immediate emergency help.
Engine 8, same traffic. They have no buses available at this time. Stand by. Engine 1, Engine 26, and Engine 8. We'll let you know.
Again, the dispatcher referred to ambulances as buses. The 3 emergencies were all within a 4-mile radius. No ambulances available, a moment confirmed in this email sent by a Denver firefighter. It references waiting more than 30 minutes for an ambulance for a critical Code 10 emergency. The firefighter wrote, "This seems unacceptable," and added, 3 other units on calls in different parts of the city were waiting for ambulances at the same time. Our review found multiple examples, including this email from another firefighter, also in December of last year. We talked with the ambulance crew, and they said there were only 4 ambulances on the street for the entire city. Help me understand how that's acceptable in a city like Denver.
I'm sorry, I can't help you understand that.
We shared the data and the findings of our investigation with Denver City Council member Kevin Flynn. What did that data say to you?
30 plus, 459 times last year, and that's a problem. Where are our units deployed? Why can't we get there sooner?
Our digging uncovered more questions inside the paramedic division at Denver Health, including why the hospital's medical director started and then, for some unknown reason, ultimately prevented firefighters from administering IVs when ambulances were delayed.
All units come in.
They are trained to run into burning buildings and save lives.
It's be an offensive attack at this time.
Trained to climb tall ladders.
Smoke's going to be coming from the east side of the structure.
And direct high-powered hoses.
I need a supply line.
But currently in the city of Denver, firefighters are prevented from using this bag of liquid and this needle to save lives. Help me understand, what impact is this having on the people of Denver?
The people of Denver are not getting the service that they think they are getting.
Who's making those rules?
I don't think it's the fire department.
Is Denver Fire able to start an IV?
So that's a question I'm going to defer to Dr. McVaney on as medical direction and what is allowed under those acts.
This is video from a Denver City Council study session earlier in the year. The decision that prevents Denver firefighters from administering IVs lands at the desk of Denver Health Medical Director Dr. Kevin McVaney.
I'll answer shortly. Denver Fire does not start IVs. I think that there's some really important context there. IVs rarely save lives.
Denver Health's medical director confirmed in this public meeting that firefighters are prevented from giving IVs. Interestingly, he said they rarely save lives, which also means sometimes they can save lives. Have you witnessed an IV saving a life?
Multiple times.
How many times do you think firefighters could make a difference by issuing an IV?
Every shift, every day.
And that might explain these internal emails obtained by Denver7. They date back to 2017 and show back then leaders inside Denver Fire were asking Denver Health for permission to allow firefighters to administer IVs. The emails sent by a Denver fire captain include, the data proves that in the best interest of Denver, IVs with an updated protocol is the right thing to do. Emails included a data study by Denver Fire showing more than 35,000 emergency calls in 2018 where firefighters could have helped administering IVs. And this July 2019 email from a captain shows the building frustration. We have continually pushed this topic over the last several months with no direction or decision. As you sit there now, do you know why back in 2019 the momentum for your department to do IVs just stopped?
I don't. I wish I did.
Denver Fire Chief Desmond Fulton acknowledges the growing conflict. Is there a logical reason for Denver Health to prevent your firefighters from giving IVs?
There's not. I don't think there's a logical reason personally.
And consider this, under the city's current contract with Denver Health, trained and licensed paramedics working as Denver firefighters are not allowed to provide advanced life support when responding to emergencies. Would it be accurate for us to report that Dr. Kevin McVaney is essentially handcuffed your firefighters?
In some capacities, yes. There are some things that we're not able to do. I feel that would benefit patients that we serve.
Dr. McVaney, are you available? And we wanted to ask Dr. McVaney to explain his decisions.
We've reported some critical things. Why are you walking away from our questions? We just want to hear your perspective. Are you going to change anything? Sounds like the answer's no.
Which now leads us to the question, what will the future hold? Does it need to change?
Absolutely.
Do you wonder why it hasn't?
I wondered why it hadn't 10, 15 years ago.
On your list of priorities, how important is this?
Extremely.
You want it changed now?
I want it changed as soon as possible.
My daughter deserved better.
When we return,
She was an incredible little human.
Delayed and Diverted continues after the break.
Welcome back. Denver firefighters and Denver paramedics were not the only ones wanting answers from Denver Health. Perhaps the most significant nugget our team uncovered was a critical email from a Denver firefighter, and that led us to a mom in Inglewood.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
My daughter deserved better.
They are images and moments in time Andrea Plunkett's mom will never forget.
She deserved better, and she could still be here.
She provided us these pictures from the day an SUV collided with her daughter. She wants everyone to know what happened, and Leah Plunkett wants to know why.
2 humans made bad decisions that day and took a child from this world.
She's talking about this decision to bypass a nearby hospital and instead drive more than 17 minutes to Denver Health.
En route to Denver Health following medical.
Why did they travel so far? Why?
She has questions about what Denver7 has uncovered in this email from a Denver firefighter, what we found in this paramedic patient care report, and what we discovered in this video from a body camera.
She didn't deserve to die. She was an incredible little human.
Everything changed on the afternoon of May 22nd, 2016.
Right now she is not conscious, but she is breathing.
That's the voice of a Sheridan police officer. This is body camera video obtained by Denver7 Investigates. It raises questions about decisions by Denver Health paramedics.
So she's most likely going to be transported to Swedish.
That police officer clearly knew Swedish Medical Center was the closest level 1 trauma center, just 2.2 miles away, and Andrea clearly needed level 1 care in a hurry. Instead, the paramedic crew chose to drive her 3 times farther, 6.6 miles away, to Denver Health.
I wanted to know what took so long for my daughter to get medical care. Why does it take 20 minutes to get somebody life-saving blood and oxygen to their brain? Every second of that was killing her.
Hospital reports and body camera video confirm the following. It took paramedics 10 minutes and 16 seconds to arrive to help Andrea. The national standard is less than 9 minutes. Paramedics then spent 5 minutes and 40 seconds on scene. And then, instead of taking her to Swedish just a couple minutes away, They spent 17 minutes and 28 seconds driving to Denver Health.
What ultimately took her life was the lack of oxygen to her brain. Why 20 minutes? Why over 20 minutes? There's a hospital 5 minutes down the street with a Trauma 1 center.
The answer to that question may have come from courageous former paramedics. They asked us to protect their identities. Why would a paramedic drive 10 or more miles further and avoid a closer level 1 trauma center?
Because if I transport the patient to Denver Health, no matter what the patient outcome is, I won't get second guessed by my medical direction. If I transport them to another facility, it will be scrutinized and reviewed a lot closer.
In all, more than a half dozen current and former paramedics told Denver7 pressure from upper management produces decisions like we discovered with 11-year-old Andrea. Are you surprised by what we found?
Nope, not at all. All level 1 trauma goes to Denver Health. You will go by other level 1 trauma centers to go to Denver Health. If not, you were questioned as to why you did not take that patient to Denver Health.
This one is the last picture of us together that I'll ever get to have.
Others have joined Andrea's mom questioning the culture inside Denver Health. Denver7 Investigates uncovered emails from senior leaders at UC Health back in 2021. All questioning Denver Health's decision to bypass that hospital with critically injured patients more than a dozen times, including a gunshot wound in Green Valley Ranch and a critically injured survivor of a serious car crash. You're saying you've done nothing wrong?
I've done nothing wrong. I take care of patients.
He's the doctor in charge of Denver Health's paramedics division. During this interview, he doubled down on his hospital's decisions.
I wouldn't change a thing about how we equip and take care of our trauma patients.
Which explains why multiple sources confirm Denver Health made no changes in its culture after this memo sent by a Denver firefighter on the day Andrea was hit by the SUV.
Hey, who's going to the hospital? I can. Go.
The email includes another incident involving Denver Health ambulances passing up Swedish Hospital to take a critical patient to Denver Health.
You're going Swedish? Denver Health.
That was a police officer questioning where the paramedics were taking Andrea. The email sent more than 5 years ago includes this telling line. The crew was very upset and they stated this keeps happening in Sheridan where they do not go to the closest level 1 hospital. They have stated this is the 4th time they recall something this significant happening. You've read that email. What did it say to you? Murphy Robinson served as Denver's deputy mayor when we uncovered that email.
Those emails said that we have a very frustrated group of firefighters who believe that something must change.
This is shortly after Denver Fire pulled up. And here's another problem. We also showed Denver's deputy mayor this report. Take a close look. Paramedics claim they only spent 16 seconds attending to Andrea before transporting her to Denver Health. The body camera video tells a different story, showing 5 minutes and 40 seconds at the crash site. Combined with an extended response time and the decision to bypass Swedish, in all, a total of more than 30 minutes for Andrea to get to an emergency room.
I think the facts of the video aren't accurately reflected in this specific report.
A problem?
Of course it is. It's a major problem.
If you could talk to the chief executive officer of Denver Health right now, what would you say to her?
I would want her to explain her policy. It's unfair. It's not right.
You're going Swedish? Denver Health.
Like, I can't even explain my emotions right now because on one side, I'm sad and I'm upset that my baby's not with me. On the other, I'm raging.
When we return,
I have a desire. We gotta fix this.
Delayed and Diverted continues after the break.
As the volume of the voices from the insiders continued to grow, as we continued to focus on the risks to the people of Denver, the issues became quite clear. Combined, it created a pressure that forced response and reaction from city leaders, including the mayor and the now former CEO of Denver Health.
I'm happy that it's coming to light.
Do we have a bus assigned to us you.
We need to make some changes and make things better.
We need to figure out what is, again, the root cause of that problem and how are we going to address it.
Denver's executive director of public safety was one of the first city leaders to speak out.
What I would like to do is develop a formal policy and mechanism for when we have one of those responses that I don't find out about it through a Tony Kowaleski report.
We gotta fix this.
Denver's mayor also sent a strong message.
You know, we have got to improve the entire system. This is not okay. Nobody deserves to be in pain or to see a loved one die when we know we could have saved them.
In reviewing the road that led to the changes, it was perhaps this interview back in August, an interview that followed more than a year of critical reports, an interview that galvanized the new future for the city's emergency management system. How would you describe what our reporting has uncovered?
Well, first of all, it's disappointing. It's painful to watch. I feel for our firefighters who I know want to do the very best.
Mayor Michael Hancock used strong language and was very passionate when he made his intentions clear to city leaders, Denver Health, and the people of his city.
There's no excuse for the kind of delays that our firefighters articulated and you certainly showed on camera.
Will what happened in the past not be accepted in the future?
Listen, none of this is acceptable today. So it's not, I mean, if you're talking about delayed response or not choosing the right emergency room to get people to for the best care, the quickest care, none of that's acceptable today. And so what we're going to do our very best to do is to make sure that we limit those types of tough decisions and wrong decisions in the future.
CEO Robin Wittenstein has declined requests to answer our questions, have again declined to answer questions. After more than a year of dodging multiple requests to address issues our investigations brought into focus, Denver Health CEO agreed to answer our questions about the concerns raised by her paramedics and Denver firefighters. In front of these cameras, will you commit to the changes the mayor is calling for?
I will commit to continued conversations with the city of Denver.
Specifically, have you changed anything because of the testimonials, the information in our reporting?
There haven't been specific changes that have been necessary.
In the final days of her leadership, as she prepared for her retirement, the outgoing CEO stood firm in her criticism of the testimonials included in our reports. But after a year of reporting, you just said to me, nothing has changed. All those people came forward and said you had a culture problem, yet you've changed nothing.
We continue to talk to our employees to see what else do we need to do.
Denver Health CEO did confirm that after the hospital's paramedics division failed to meet response time standards last year, Denver Health is now working to hire more paramedics and get more ambulances on the street. In conclusion, should the people of Denver expect better service from your paramedic division?
The people of Denver get great service from our paramedic division right now.
With all due respect, you've dodged a lot of questions.
I've given you the answers that I think are appropriate and accurate.
When we return,
I know in my heart this is going to be better for the patients that we serve.
Delayed and Diverted continues after the break.
So here we are now a year later as a result of the firefighters and paramedics who simply would not accept the status quo. Change has happened and change is happening. Denver Health CEO announced her retirement during our reporting. Shortly after the hospital's new CEO took over, the man in charge of the paramedics division, Denver Health's medical director, announced his resignation. In addition, the city now has a new operating agreement between Fire and Denver Health. City leaders tell us it opens the door for quicker responses and better care for the people of Denver. Did you ever think you'd be sitting here talking about the change that's happened?
I did not, to be quite honest with you, but I know in my heart this is going to be better for our organization. It's going to be better for Denver Health and most important, better for the patients that we serve.
When I tell you the sources that have been talking to us are pleased that there's been change, what does that mean to you?
I think it's a recognition that, it's a new chapter.
What role did the journalism play in this?
A significant role. I mean, I absolutely think not only the citizens have you to thank for this, you found that there was ways that we could be better as a fire department, and you found there were ways that we could be better the way we perform patient care. And it was because of that tenacity and that awareness that you gave us the opportunity to be better ourselves, and I appreciate it.
In the end, nearly 3 dozen changes to the city's operating agreement with Denver Health. Firefighters are now trained to administer IVs, and in the coming months, more training to allow firefighters to provide the most advanced life support to patients in need. Significant changes opening a new chapter for the Mile High City.
What are you hoping for the future now that this new agreement is in place?
The most important thing is that the citizens of the city and county of Denver get the care that they deserve.
By all indications, it looks like the winner in this agreement is the people of Denver.
Which is what we want. They deserve the best care, and we're going to continue to give them the best care.
We leave you tonight with a thank you to the men and women who risked their careers to bring about this change. We thank them for the trust. Some sat in front of our cameras, others guided our reporting with critical phone calls, meetings, or emails. Without their passion and guidance, none of this change happens. Together, their love of Denver, their cry for help brought into focus dangerous delays and diversions, and ultimately produced improved emergency responses for the people of their city. I'm Tony Kowaleski. Thanks for watching, and good night.